is your Hawaiian Volcano summary for June 26, 2025. We are coming out of episode 26, which occurred last Friday morning, early in the morning, not long after our previous live stream. We are now in the episode 27 waiting room, but here you see the live shots up at the caldera currently. We do have a little bit of the time lapses to go through from episode 26. Started out with not much precursor activity, as much as maybe could have been expected based on previous episodes, but happened rather quickly, and then ended about 8 hours later. Looking at a different angle of this initial sequence, it begins at about 1 a.m. So you can see some of that spatter happening, and then once it starts, it does not back off. And we get some of the largest fountains that we have seen so far over the course of this eruption since mid-December. Moving on to the next. It is black here. It is running, but we do see that early morning activity and then that huge fountain, which does become a little bit clearer as the conditions improve. Also shooting out into the Ka'u Desert and building that berm on the backside of the caldera there. So huge fountains, and then once they stopped, it stopped rapidly. Looking at the impact map, this map has not been updated this week, but really there's not much changes happening. The vents are still the same, the eruption sites all very similar, but we're adding a couple meters, several meters in depth every single time across the caldera floor. I did want to take a look at the tilt that is at the summit from the UWD tilt meter, and we see it recharging after the end of the last episode, as we've seen in previous episodes. A rather significant dip on the tilt meter with that last episode. But more recently today, we see one of these events take place that flatlines the overall tilt for a little while before it begins to pick back up. And what these ends up translating to is potentially more time until the next episode begins. We see some of these that have happened previously around the 18th and 19th, and how it delayed the beginning of the next episode. Checking on the earthquakes, not a whole lot to talk about. We have some clusters in the Deep Pahala region, some out by the volcano formerly known as Loihi, and some south flank earthquakes, as well as a few up around the summit. Interesting thing is, though, that according to USGS, there were no earthquakes felt over the past week, as reported by the Felt It reports. Looking at some of the depth of these earthquakes, really it's a cluster, lots of little ones on the south flank, and then the blue on the left being Deep Pahala. And with the air quality, looking at the purple air monitors, we're seeing during these pauses roughly 1,200 tons of SO2 emissions per day, which is nothing compared to when the fissures or these episodes begin. And right now we see green across the board all the way around the island. That will change when the episode begins. And looking at the forecast right now from the VMAP project from University of Hawaii Manoa, we see those predominant trade winds and then a little bit of fall off tomorrow, but mostly trade wind activity here, which is good. We'll talk more about that later. And we'll leave you here with a picture or a video from Hawaii Tracker, the latest episode and the fountains associated with it. And for Mauna Loa, slowly continues to reinflate. No real changes there. It's still green, normal conditions as listed by the USGS HVO. And that'll do it. This is your Hawaiian Volcano summary for the week.